Hi, welcome to my channel. If you haven't seen my last video, first of all, what are you doing here? Go watch that one first. Second of all, last time we explored around Lothric, starting from the high wall, making our way through the swamps and catacombs, defeating the two Lords of Cinder, and finally arriving at the cold and eerie Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. Let's see what other surprises await. Speaking of surprises, I found Greyrat's ashes and his dead body in the sewer. Not exactly the uplifting start I was hoping for, but yeah, he's dead now. I gotta say, without using any guides, it is insanely difficult to follow his questline or a bunch of others, honestly. I mean, just look at this. There's no way you'd figure this out on a blind playthrough. Unless I'm just stupid, which is totally possible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the boss of Irithyll, Pontiff Sulyvahn. And this dude was my Ornstein and Smough of Dark Souls 3. He's an unforgiving beast. He has very long and fast chain combos, leaving only a few openings. You pretty much have to stay on the offensive most of the time because he will absolutely punish you for panic rolling away from him. He doesn't give you a break at all. And if that wasn't enough, he summons a clone in his second phase. The attack pattern of the clone will always preempt the attacks of Sulyvahn, so you have to dodge twice, and getting close to him is a fool's errand now. After a few tries, I remembered my lesson from the Fume Night back in my Dark Souls 2 video, and I decided to take a break. It was just getting to be too much. The next day I even tried parrying him, which was a huge gamble because, like I said before, I'm not good at it. But after about 2 total hours, I finally beat him. I actually landed some decent parries, surprisingly, and I did cheese the second phase a bit by baiting his leaping attack so I could sneak in a few hits. Call me cheap, but hey, a win is a win. Funny story, this boss fight made me rage more than any other fight I've ever done. I wasn't full on screaming, but I had a few loud moments where I was like, "Oh, you fucker, give me a break. Oh, leave me alone, you motherfucker." Then the next day I was in the kitchen and my mom walked in and she said, quote, "I've heard you last night and I've never heard you swear that much. I was so surprised," end quote. I was honestly a little embarrassed, but we laughed about it. That one small moment made the whole boss fight even more memorable. Love you, mom. Also, originally Sulyvahn was supposed to be the final boss of Dark Souls 3, and I can totally see it now. Besides the fight, the lore surrounding him is crazy. Check it out later if you are interested. Totally villainous stuff.
Gracious, and almost as if it had lived mere moments ago. Oh, I'm sure an ashen one such as thee would never endure such base contrivances.
Oh no! "'Tis but a scratch."
Hold on a second, this seems really familiar. I feel like I have been here before. I'm getting the craziest deja vu right now. Yeah, I saw this coming from the moment I arrived in Irithyll and saw the silhouette behind the fog. One thing that still confuses me in the Soul series is how time works, or more specifically, how convoluted it is. Like, how is it possible that Anor Londo, the sunny golden city from a completely different kingdom, is now frozen over, sitting here in the middle of the Boreal Valley? From what I understand, the repeated linking of the fire causes the lands to converge, basically dragging everything closer to the first flame and to those destined to link it. This actually makes a lot more sense later on in the game, but honestly, it's still kind of a head scratcher for me. I was stoked to explore the rooms of Anor Londo all over again, but unfortunately, you can't. I even tried smacking a couple of walls to see if they are not illusions. Then I got to the hallway that used to lead to the old bonfire, and it was completely blocked by rubble. I won't lie, I was a little disappointed, but I get it. This Anor Londo is ruined, probably because of all the land converging and the passage of time. Still, it would have been really cool to revisit the old rooms where I once fought the Silver Knights, that lone Titanite demon, and of course, saw Solaire.
Oh, shit!
Do I look like a real boy, Papa?
I totally didn't expect to see Gwendolyn as part of Aldrich. In the opening cinematic, Aldrich just looked like some kind of ghoul spilling out of a grave. At least now we know how he got his name. The fight itself isn't too bad, it has a pretty gradual learning curve. Once I saw each attack and phase at least once, I managed to beat Aldrich on my third try. Even then, I had to use an Ember for the last attempt to survive and defeat him. Also seeing the same Grand Hall where I once fought Ornstein and Smough, now twisted into something so grim and disgusting, was really interesting. It's such a stark contrast from a shining divine arena to this dark corrupted mess. And overall, I really appreciate how incredible the whole journey through Erythil and Anor Londo was. These areas are absolutely stunning, from the snowy courtyards to the eerie cathedrals, and packed with so much atmosphere and detail. It honestly reminded me a lot of the sense of wonder and discovery I had while exploring in Dark Souls 1.
Ah, unkindled one. The fire fades and awaits its one last lord. Prince Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul.
You're automatically teleported here when you have defeated 3 of the 4 Lords of Cinder, or you kill Emma, you monster.
Tell him what he must be, a lord.
Die!
Don't do it to me. I beg you. No. Nothing.
Since I had no Estus left and had low HP, I quickly equipped the Ring of Sacrifice and accepted my fate.
I'm killing you. I'm killing you. I don't care about anything else. I don't give a shit about anything else. My programming is just get that fucking guy right now.
'Tis but a...
I'm joking. Stop! 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 Ah!
After dying a lot to the Dancer, mainly because of the grab attacks, the hitbox is very weird paired with the animation, I could not predict when it would hit me, I realized I needed to switch things up. For the majority of the game I'd been using the Farron Greatsword, but when I needed more mobility and speed, I switched to the Erythral Straight-Sword. The problem with both these weapons though is that they can't be buffed with resins, like charcoal for fire or gold pine for lightning, since one has innate frost damage and the other is a boss weapon. I needed something quick and snappy, and after a quick browse of my inventory, I decided to infuse the Lothric Night Sword with a sharp gem, basically making the weapon's dexterity scaling much better since it was my most leveled stat in terms of damage output. And just like that, I defeated the Dancer. Just kidding, it did take a couple of tries, but switching weapons definitely helped. The Dancer boss fight is a nice challenging surprise with the whole teleportation thingy. It's just an unsettling fight overall. From the cutscene, from the way the Dancer moves, from the music, it all adds up. And the soundtrack isn't some epic horn blasting showdown either. It's this haunting, eerie choral melody softly playing in the background, and it really ties the whole atmosphere together. After a blood donation from this generous knight statue, I found myself in the Consumed King's Garden. Even though it is a short and optional area, I don't really like it. Mainly because most of it is just a toxic swamp filled with very tanky and powerful enemies. The boss, on the other hand, I do like.
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons. Well, I will not give him up, for he is all that I have.
Oceiros is the former king of Lothric who went mad and turned himself into a scaleless dragon. In the first phase he holds a staff in one hand and cradles his supposed child, Ocelot, in the other. Though we can't see the child, only hear it, probably because he's completely lost his mind. What really makes this boss stand out for me is the dialogue. In the opening cutscene he addresses you, and then during the fight he continues speaking. Something not many bosses in this game do. He talks to Ocelot and eventually realizes that there's nothing in his arm, which makes the whole fight even more unsettling and tragic. Then in the second phase, he snaps.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
He destroys his staff, drops to all fours and becomes way more aggressive, dashing and hovering across the room like a wild beast. It totally exceeded my expectations because at first I thought it would be a pathetically easy fight, only to spend the next hour or so trying to defeat him, trying all sorts of strategies. After defeating Oceiros, I was able to open the door behind him, where I found the path of the dragon gesture and an illusory wall. Venturing further through it, the place immediately felt familiar. Just a few steps in, I realized that this is the Cemetery of Ash, but someone turned the lights off. I never realized how much lighting makes a difference until now. The whole area made me feel uneasy, especially near the cliffs. It's not just the atmosphere that's different either. The enemies have changed too, which adds to the discomfort. There's something really unsettling about seeing a familiar place altered with darkness just enough to make it feel wrong. I was wondering though, if I'm back here, will I be fighting Gundyr again? Turns out that yes, and this time he's a champion. Pfft, yeah right, I beat you when I was level 1, scrub. Please stop it, I take everything I said back. Champion Gundyr is a completely different force of nature compared to the first time you fight him. The first phase is pretty manageable, but when his eyes light up, which is the second phase, shit is about to hit the fan real quick. He becomes relentless, chaining his attacks in quick succession with these insane combos, not giving you any space, very much like Pontiff. It was a challenging fight that demanded precise dodging and timing, and I enjoyed it a lot. With Champion Gundyr's soul in my pocket, I went back to Firelink to check out the transpositions, and this ring, the Prisoner's Chain, caught my eye. It gives you 15 virtual levels, plus 5 to vigor, vitality and endurance, but with the drawback of taking more damage. I figured, hey, more levels without actually leveling up? Why not give it a shot? Back in the Untended Graves I ran into this really weird glitch. Whenever I locked onto an enemy, this placeholder text, I'm guessing, would pop up on the screen and completely obstruct my bars. It only happened twice during the entire playthrough, but the only fix was to reboot the game. Exploring the Undead Graves version of Firelink is just as unsettling as exploring the graves. There are Black Knights surrounding the premises, and out of all the NPCs you meet in the first Firelink, there's only one, and that's the Shrine Handmaid. Let's see what she sells here. What Artorias said? Time to farm some souls. As for items, the only really notable ones here are the Coiled Sword Fragment, which works like a Homeward Bone but with infinite uses, and the Eyes of a Firekeeper. The eyes are used for one of the game's endings and also provide a bit of extra lore. As playing as Artorias, I ventured forth into Lothric Castle.
What the hell is even that?
I was moving up in the world, I mean literally, climbing higher and higher through the castle, cutting down enemies thin and thick, and getting deep fried by some scaly pigeons on the rooftops. It really started to feel like the final stretch of the game, these abominations flying across a dark orange sky, and holy shit, is that a fucking eclipse? Next thing I know, I'm gonna see Ludliv holding a crimson behelit. I know an eclipse means nothing good.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening. Stupidest idea in history.
Disgusting!
Remember that underground room in Rithil behind an illusory wall with the two Sullivan beasts? Yeah, I realized I totally forgot to go there, so I backtracked. And got my ass kicked. 4 times. But it was worth it, because I got my beloved Ring of Favor. If that sounds familiar, it's basically the Ring of Favor and Protection from Dark Souls 1, except this time it doesn't break when you take it off. You already know I'm equipping it. It was time for another boss fight, and peeking into the arena from the outside, I assumed I'd be going up against one of those flying horrors. Turns out that they are called Pilgrim Butterflies, by the way. Dragon Slayer in the name, the look of this boss. I wonder what the inspiration was. I was actually doing really well on my first try, using that frost damage tip from earlier, but once I got him down to half health, the second phase kicked in, and suddenly 2 Pilgrim Butterflies started charging up something from both sides. And the sound they made, I genuinely thought they were about to drop a nuke or fire a huge laser beam from the sky. I panicked, started spam rolling, made a bunch of mistakes, and died. Still, it wasn't that tough overall. I beat the Dragon Slayer armor on my second try, and honestly, I really liked the fight.
Back to the lobby.
Do they really think that they can make me, a free thinker, dunk my head in wax? Do you know who you are dealing with from software? I am the... Oh, is this scented wax? Let me guess. Vanilla. No. Strawberry? This is actually why you should dunk your head in wax. Turns out if you're waxed, these creepy hands don't hurt you. Otherwise, they'll not only slap you, but build up curse. So yeah, scented wax protects from ghost hands. Remember that next time you're playing Phasmophobia.
Sometimes my genius is it almost frightening.
Going to find whoever did this.
I decided I needed one more infused weapon in my arsenal, and I chose the lightning infusion. Since I felt like most of the bosses were weak to lightning damage, and it turns out I was right, this is the list. And no, I didn't look this up when I was playing, so my gamble paid off. And it was time to test my upgrade on the final Lords of Cinder, Prince Lothric and Lorien.
Oh dear. Another dogged contender. Welcome, unkindled one, purloiner of cinders. Mind you, the mantle of Lord interests me none. The fire-linking curse, the legacy of Lords, let it all fade into nothing. You've done quite enough. Now have your rest.
First phase you fight the Elder Prince Lorien. Most of his attacks leave openings, and the only tricky part of this phase is when he teleports, usually right behind you. It's usually really easy to dodge, but sometimes he does this delayed slam that caught me every time, but otherwise very manageable. After defeating Lorien, the younger Prince Lothric revives him and stays on his back. Something that the Elden Ring's DLC Shadow of the Erdtree would shamelessly steal 8 years later. The second phase is similar to the first, only with Lothric now. He casts a few spells that you need to carefully dodge on top of Lorien's attacks. Luckily there are still plenty of openings to squeeze in some damage. The trick is to stay behind them. Attacking their rear hits both brothers at once, which is super helpful, because if you kill Lorien before Lothric, he will revive him again and the fighting resumes. Overall, it was a really fun and atmospheric boss fight with a great soundtrack. Definitely not the hardest, it only took me 2 tries. I honestly felt like such a god gamer dodging all those attacks that after the fight was done, I put down my summoning sign in front of the fog gate. And I waited and waited, but no one answered.
Noble Lords of Cinder, the fire fades. And the Lords go without thrones. Surrender your fires to the true heir. Let him grant death to the old gods of Lordran, deliverers of the first flame.
This is it, where this journey began and where it shall end. This kiln is obviously very different from the one in Dark Souls 1, and just like I loved that one, I absolutely love this one too. This is the part where we see the aftermath of the lands converging. Time and the world have started collapsing in on themselves. Lands and eras bleed together, all burned away by the endless cycle. The way I see it, this is also why we see Anor Londo in the Boreal Valley all of a sudden. What remains is this bleak ashen wasteland with a haunting red eclipse high in the sky, possibly a reference to the dark sign, a chilling reminder that to keep the fire from fading, it must consume everything. There are a lot of interesting theories about the kiln, Firelink Shrine, untended graves and so on, and that's what makes this game and the series as a whole so special. The story isn't spoon-fed, it's scattered in pieces, and you are free to piece it together in a way that speaks to you the most. And then you get to the boss arena, a field of ash filled with countless weapons of fallen unkindled who came so close but ultimately failed. Flowers blooming, probably feeding off the only thing left behind, the blood of the fallen. There in the middle you see someone in a very similar pose, resting next to a bonfire. And then shit goes down. Soul of Cinder is basically the manifestation of the souls of all those who have linked themselves to the first flame through history, becoming Lords of Cinder. It has been here so long that its armor is worn, charred and fused into its body. And it's here to kick your fucking ass.
Yo, look at this fucking bullshit. What the fuck? Dude, flip!
Remember when I was convinced I was so good at the game when I fought the princess? This fight really humbled me. And when you think the craziest thing it does is backflips, then let me show you what happens when you enter phase 2. When I first heard this, I must have literally paused for like a minute straight. I was starstruck. The Soul of Cinder gets so desperate that it pulls out the moveset of the first Lord of Cinder, Gwyn, as a last resort. The grabs, the kicks, the lightning strikes, the leap attacks. When I got into phase 2 for the second time, I thought I could surely parry the attacks like I did with Gwyn, right?
Nope.
Oh, Miyazaki, you really thought of everything, didn't you, you sly dog? This was by far the hardest boss fight of this game for me. Since the Soul of Cinder is a manifestation of all those who have linked the flame, it switches its moveset throughout the fight. There are 4 movesets in phase 1. Normal melee, mage, lance with faith, and curved sword with pyromancy. Each moveset has its own tricky parts. For an example, normal melee has delayed attacks, curved sword with pyromancy can parry you and cast poison mist and power within. Basically the first phase is a test of adaptation. You have to figure out how each moveset works just to survive and have enough Estus for phase 2. Phase 2 is a little bit easier since it's familiar with Gwyn's moveset and you can bait the leap attacks, but the lightning storm attack gave me a lot of trouble. I ended up trying a few different strategies for this fight. Strategy number 1. The Lightning Lothric Night Sword. It did decent damage, but I felt like I could push it further. Strategy number 2. The Erythil Straight Sword. Turns out Soul of Cinder is resistant to frost, so that was a no-go. Strategy number 3. The Farron Greatsword. Now I experimented with this one quite a bit. I realized that if I didn't lock on and used its special moveset, I could sneak in hits while dodging its swings. It actually worked pretty well and got me to phase 2 several times, but it wasn't consistent or fast enough. Finally, strategy number 4. The Sharp Lothric Night Sword with lightning resin and the shield. The sword alone hits hard with ace scaling and dexterity, and when I added lightning, which the Soul of Cinder is weak to, it really made a difference. I only used the shield during the lightning storm attack, and that's what finally helped me to take it down. This was a really fitting final boss fight to tie everything together. It had a satisfying learning curve and served as a true test of everything I'd learned throughout the series. A tough, well-earned finale. With the Soul of Cinder defeated, I linked the first flame. Even though the world in this game didn't feel like it was worth saving, I just couldn't bring myself to hand over the eyes to the Firekeeper. I linked the flame in Dark Souls 1, so doing it again here just felt right. I wasn't following any guides and I didn't even know the Usurpation of Fire ending existed. And let's be real, there's no way I would have figured out all of this on my own. And that's a wrap for the base game of Dark Souls 3. What a doozy of a journey. I still have 2 DLCs left which I'll explore in the next video, the grand finale of my Dark Souls adventure, but it may not be my last Dark Souls video. We'll see. Anywho, thanks for watching my video. I'll be sharing my full thoughts, a retrospective if you will, on the entire series in the next one. So if you are curious to hear me yap about that, stay tuned. And hey, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. I love reading them. Smash that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.